Nadler for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Bedoya, one of the many areas in which the Federal Trade Commission has distinguished itself is in its groundbreaking activity to combat anti-competitive practices in the pharmaceutical industry. Whether it's the pay for delay cases or efforts to fight misuse of the FDA publication called the Orange Book, the FTC has been at the cutting edge. That's why I was so disturbed to see that yesterday, the FTC's General Counsel stayed the administrative adjudication of the Commissioner's case against the 3 largest pharmacy benefit managers over the price of insulin. The effort to bring down prices for consumers is just one example of the work you were doing before President Trump attempted to remove you from office. Can you explain the costs to be borne by consumers associated with the President's unlawful attempt to fire you and Commissioner Slaughter?
Thank you, Ranking Member Nadler. Maybe I can just talk about this case. So I'm pretty sure everyone in the room cares about the cost of insulin. And this is a case where FTC staff is alleging that these pharmacy middlemen, they're called PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers, are competing not to lower the price of insulin, which is how markets normally should work. They allege instead that these pharmacy middlemen are competing to raise the price of insulin. We, Commissioner Slaughter, who I'm joined...
Competing or colluding?
Pardon me? I didn't hear the first part of you.
Competing or colluding?
What was the first? Beating or colluding?
Competing. Or colluding.
The allegation in the complaint is there's a competition to raise the prices. I'm joined by Commissioner Slaughter. She and I are the only judges who are presiding over that case in an appellate manner, because our colleagues, Chairman Ferguson and Commissioner Holyoke, are both recused. And so now that it's the administration's contention that we are removed, there are no judges to adjudicate that case. And so the pharmacy middlemen have moved to stay it. That stay was granted, that request for stay was granted yesterday, and this case won't be adjudicated for at least another 105 days, so I think that's 3.5 months. And the evidentiary hearing, I understand, will occur even later. But basically, it's permanently, not permanently, but indefinitely on ice. And I don't think anybody wins from having a case like that not adjudicated.
Thank you. We know that, unfortunately, one of the ways new technology is deployed is to find ways to break the law. Is computer-generated pricing or algorithmic pricing being deployed to violate the antitrust laws, and what can the FTC do about it?
One of the things we're hearing a lot are allegations that instead of outright colluding, to use your term, just sitting down in a smoky room, like the Beef Trust did in Chicago, in the early 1900s, and just set prices. What a lot of competitors are doing is saying, oh, no, we compete, but we happen to use the same, algorithmic pricing software. And although there are allegations, for example, in the RealPage lawsuit from DOJ that they are, in fact, also picking up the phone and just straight up colluding, increasingly what you see are cases where they just use the same software. And so I think this is absolutely a core concern. The FTC has issued various requests for information around aspects of this. We issued an interim report around algorithmic pricing in January, and it's something I think we need to continue to track closely.
Thank you. We all recognize that AI carries with it enormous potential as well as possible perils. We also all recognize that it's a field that continues to develop, often at a rapid clip. Can you explain why the FTC's involvement in evolving industries, even while they're undergoing changes, is a good thing?
Absolutely. I understand folks who say, you don't want too aggressive antitrust enforcement. That's a bad thing. But for me, the case that jumps out is the case you mentioned, the proposed NVIDIA-ARM merger. NVIDIA is a chip supplier. ARM is a chip designer. It's a vertical deal. ARM was valued at the time of that deal for $40 billion. FTC sued. They dropped that merger. And as of like 9:58 this morning, ARM was valued at, I think, $114 billion. And so the answer to your question, Congressman Nadler, is that so the market can continue to evolve, so that scrappy startup can access all of these critical resources that the companies like these provide without the limitations like the ones I referenced in my opening statement, where their incumbents are getting locked in and startups are getting squeezed out.
Thank you. And finally, our fields of law, all fields of law can and should evolve over time. In recent years, there has been increased attention as to how competition affects not only consumers, but also workers. With that perspective in mind, how should we be thinking about how AI might impact the American workforce?
I would say the biggest thing people are not talking about is the need for some kind of protection for workers in the workplace so that they just can't be scanned head to toe and replaced by algorithms. And this isn't no longer a thing from Hollywood. This is something you're seeing in jobs like call centers, online therapy, et cetera.
Gentleman's time
Thank
is
you. My
expired.
time has expired. I yield back.
Now recognize gentleman